Day 2 of NAB in Las Vegas, National Association of Broadcasters show officially wrapped up. He's AJ Untermeyer, I'm Joey McMurry. We're here for KWVA, the University of Oregon Campus Radio. And so far we've gotten a chance to see a lot of really cool stuff here at the Las Vegas Convention Center. It's pretty much wall to wall, one of the biggest buildings I've ever been in that has had an open floor like this. And we started out finishing up the pro audio and radio section, which accounts for about a sixth of everything, but we did all start right there, and I think we wrapped up everything in the radio section.
Maybe a little bit more that we have to go back and look at tomorrow. Tomorrow will be our last day at the convention, but we started off back at a familiar place that we got to visit with yesterday. We went to Lavo. That's what we're going to say. It's L-A-W-O. It's a German-based company that has moved stateside, and they do a lot internationally with broadcast of all sorts, but right now in the United States they're focusing on radio and control surfaces. They just rebuilt the NPR studios in Washington, D.C., and they also work with the FIFA World Cup, and they also work with the Sochi Olympics. So a lot of really impressive things that this company does, but we went back there, got a chance to talk with Axel, a really nice gentleman, and told us a lot more about their systems, and kind of showed us, answered a few of those questions that we had generated after we had left their booth yesterday. Did a really good job of answering those for us.
Yeah, we went to Wheatstone yesterday after we went to Lavo, and we had a few more questions crop up when we were talking to Wheatstone that we took back to Lavo, and they were really enthused, really energetic about answering all of these questions, and we think that they could be really, really cool to work with to try and figure something out. They actually have one gentleman, Don, who is moving up to Seattle in the next week or so, and he was very helpful, said that he'd be happy to even sit down before we even make a commitment to a purchase and try and figure out a configuration. So that may be something that we do.
They do have a few people that are stateside and working for their North American brand. Some of the favorite features that I had from them were the ability to lock down that control surface and make it so that really the only buttons that work are the sliders and on and Q. And sometimes that's what you have to do, is you have to be able to lock down these surfaces, but then with a few clicks of buttons, you can totally unlock it and unlock the full capabilities of their system, which those capabilities we have learned are endless.
Endless, I think, is a good way to put it, and it's crazy how it can be so simple, and then you enter in like a little button password, and all of a sudden it blows up. One thing that we also thought was really cool is the software backend, because gone are the days where you have to run XLR or traditional copper audio cable between things. As soon as it's plugged into a network, that's the way that everything is run audio-wise these days. At least that's sort of the vibe that we've been getting. And one thing that was really cool was some of that back-end software that actually showed how you could route all the different inputs. So he actually turned on a little tablet for us, took a stylus, clicked on one input, and then it highlighted it across the network, and you could actually see where that input in a different color was traced across the entire network, and you could also see if it went to multiple control surfaces. It was really cool to see how all of that works in a practical environment.
Also, full remote capabilities of controlling the board. So we talked about it yesterday, where if you're 500 miles away and you need to log in and control something
at a Starbucks,
you can do it from the touch of your fingertips, and they have what are called motorized faders on these boards. So as you're changing something on the web interface, the board is physically actually moving the slider. So that was pretty cool to see.
It's like a ghost.
It really is. After we got out of Lavo, we got a chance to go check out some automation solution services. We stopped by the Digital Jukebox Group. It's a newer automation system. It's been slimmed down from a lot of the bigger ones, and they're taking just kind of the features that you need at a very basic level, which is something that we're kind of looking at, since we do have so many different DJs that come in and DJ for us. It's hard to say 90 DJs, you all need to use this one automation system. So there were a lot of features that we really liked, and they said a lot of the times you can add media to it very quickly instead of having to go through a large import and metadata process.
And that was another one of those groups that you and I felt like we could really talk to them and get to know the product. There's been some booths where we haven't had that sort of connection. This was one where we did, and you mentioned that it slims down the features so that's really just what you need. Also lowers the price point a little bit as well. After Digital Jukebox, we got a chance to actually head over to Sennheiser. They make the headsets that we use for a lot of sports broadcasts and are well known for microphones and pretty much anything audio really, but actually met a guy from Oregon who said that I've literally got a pile of microphones in my garage. I'll bring some down and you can try them all out. That was cool.
We got a chance to test out some of those in their booth. They also had a really cool timeline of Sennheiser history, and that's going to be one of the favorite things that I've seen from this convention so far, is just these companies and how they have grown over the last 100 years, really. I mean, a lot of these companies started in the early 1900s, and you're starting to see
expanded
their big expansions. And Sennheiser, another Berlin German-based company, along with Lavo. So we've seen a lot of that international brand coming into the United States. It was interesting when he talked about some of their broadcast headsets and the real difference between what we use and what you see on TV, and really it's just the look.
It really is. I mean, the over-the-ear ones tend to be, he said, that what the radio guys like, and then the smaller ones that you see on TV, that's what everybody always gets, but really it's the exact same microphone, and I thought that was pretty interesting to talk about. And after that, we sort of wrapped up, got some lunch, that was important, wrapped up our pro audio area, and then we got a chance to walk around and see some of the cool video stuff as well as some online distribution things, and man, there's a lot of stuff out there.
We went into another hall, and it was just a much different vibe. A lot of dim lights, purples and blues, and loud music.
A little bit more of a buzz.
Yeah, you could tell that there was definitely a lot more people over there than there was over in the pro audio section. We did, however, get a chance to stop by the Warner Chappell booth, which is a online production music library service that we use. Got a chance to sit down with one of their radio consultants and kind of look through some of the options and figure out what's truly best for a radio station from a production creative side. So, and
we actually found out that Hakeem he's based in my hometown, so that was already a cool connection to make, and he is the radio licensing guy for Warner Chappell, a Warner Brothers branch.
Really cool to sit down and work out some of the options with them. But we talked about it yesterday, that from being in the pro audio and radio section, we've learned that entire industry is switching to voice and audio over IP. Now, the chance that we got to see in the video section today is that entire industry is shifting to virtual sets, lots of green screens, lots of live 3D graphics, so many really cool touch and drag screens that we got to see. The technology out there is crazy. Gone with the days of a garage built with a physical set and man-operated cameras.
Yeah, it's all about the green screen. We saw a lot of those, seemingly an endless hall full of these virtual sets, and then we also got a chance to see some of the different cameras. Blackmagic one, Grass Valley another, a lot of these post-production video things. And the coolest thing for me, I think, was to go and actually see Adobe. And some of these bigger booths, especially in this area, they're not necessarily a demo. It's more that it's actually a theater demonstration of all of their products. So we got a chance to kind of sit in on a few of those and see, and going to the Adobe booth was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. It was really crowded the entire day, but rightfully so. Their entire Creative Cloud system they had on display. Really cool. Also, outside of that theater, they kind of had individual workstations to specific applications. So you had a After Effects one, or you had a Adobe Audition, or I didn't see a Photoshop one, but a lot of these ones that are focused towards radio, audio, and video, got a chance to kind of go to those and sit one-on-one with one of their representatives and work through some of the new features in the Creative Cloud.
We walked through some of the more video stuff and made our way to the back, some of the online distribution, and along the way actually talked with Ustream, who could potentially help us actually make a few things happen for sports with the high school world moving forward, because we do a lot of high school events and they're looking actually to expand some web video. So we looked at that a little bit. Also got into some computers, some network storage, so that we can actually have a way to store all of KWVA's files on a network that can be accessed by all the different computers. And we got a chance to talk with a couple different guys about computers and what we could be looking at. So overall, I'd say a very, very successful and productive day in day 2 of NAB.
We've got one more day of it. You can follow us on Twitter. You can hashtag at us. The hashtag is AJ and Joey go to NAB in Vegas. One more full day of action. We'll be back out at the convention center tomorrow morning. We're about to head out, go get some dinner for tonight, but we'll be back at it first thing in the morning. For Joey McMurray, I'm AJ Untermeyer, saying so long from KWVA.